Your reader can tell if you work too hard, and most of the time it will doom your book before you even get the chance. Hi, I'm Kaitlyn Turnboo, the author tuber that helps you write, market, and publish a book the right way the first time. In this video, I'm talking about how to write a good first chapter and an intriguing first chapter. This topic was requested by 2 of my Instagram followers. If you would like to request a topic on my video, go ahead and follow me on my Instagram because that is what that's for. I can connect with you better there, so go ahead. Or leave it in the comments below because I do respond to all comments. In this video, I'm going to go over the things that I believe should be in your first chapter. I'm also going to go over what I think should not be in your first chapter. And some basic tips here and there on strategies on how to make your writing better. Just so that way you can give the readers the right first impression. Before I get into it, smash that subscribe button for more writing tips and a surprise for you at the end of the video. Alright, number 1, introduce the main character. Some writers are going to say this is a given, but it's really not a given. I mean, the reader needs to know who they're going to invest in, so introduce the character that they're going to need to get to know. They should know what the character looks like. They should know the character's name. They should know whether he is male or she is female. And just a couple personality traits. Just basically that. You say, hi, this is my main character. And that's it. But you don't want to do it that awkward. Obviously, I got a video for you on how to write character descriptions in a good way and that doesn't take forever and isn't cringy. And I'll give that to you right there. Also, as you introduce your character, what is normal? Like, how is their life rolling for their entire life? That should be in there too. Do they go to school? Do they go to work? What job do they do? What grade are they in? Are they popular? Are they not? What is the normal day-to-day stuff they do? The reader should understand that as well. And it's important to keep this part brief because this normal is boring and the reader wants some stuff happening. But the normal needs to be happening at the beginning so that way the reader understands that there is an abrupt change and that's the problem in the story. 2, be yourself. Your writing style and your writing voice needs to be prominent in the first chapter because there may be readers out there that like your genre and would like your story, your characters are great, your plot is great, everything is perfect, but they just don't like your writing style. And there's really nothing you can do about that. The first chapter has a lot of pressure on it, so you're trying to get the writing style that impresses them. But I suggest you be yourself. Don't be cryptic. Readers can definitely tell when you're trying too hard on this one. And it is not entertaining and you will not get any sales. Instead, be yourself. So that way they can get to know you as a writer from the get-go and know if they're going to be able to handle it throughout the entire book. Or if you're like me, throughout the entire series. Don't waste the reader's time. That's important because if they like your fake writing style in chapter 1, they're going to get bored halfway through because they're not going to be into it halfway through. And then thus you'll get a bad review. 3, some event. What I mean by this is there needs to be some event that breaks the character from his or her norm. Makes the reader ask questions, makes the character ask questions, pulls out emotions, maybe make people go WTF. And it should definitely relate to your story. There needs to be an event that moves the main plot forward. As there should be in every chapter, and I mentioned that in How to Write a Good Chapter, which go there after this video is done, and that will just develop your chapter skills more. Number 4, there needs to be a cliffhanger. You want them to keep reading past chapter 1, right? Sometimes the big event I just mentioned in the previous step is good enough for the cliffhanger. In fact, that's what I usually shoot for when I am writing. But there needs to be something that will make the reader want to read the book. Get them to start asking questions. How to Write a Cliffhanger, it should be popping up. And that is a good video, so go check it out. Number 5, first sentence is a little bit of overkill. So while I was doing keyword research in this topic, YouTube pulled up how to write the first sentence, which means a lot of you are searching for that. And you shouldn't. It's a waste of time. Your first paragraph and your first page and your first chapter is way more important than your first sentence. Maybe I used to emphasize on the first sentence in earlier videos because I used to worry about the first sentence too. In reality, when you put that much pressure on the first sentence, you're not going to impress the reader you're going to turn the reader off and they're going to put your book down. Thus, if you just focus on the entire page instead of just that one sentence, they're not even going to pay attention to your first sentence. Does that make sense? So the only thing you get out of stressing over the first sentence is bad stuff. So I would just drop that and just worry about the first page and the first chapter. Think about when you're shopping for a book. What are you looking for? Are you wanting to be impressed by the first sentence? Most people, it takes more than a sentence to impress them. Especially me. I'm a picky reader and I'm not going to find enough about the story in one sentence. And if it's a cryptic, tricky sentence, then I'm not going to even bother reading the rest of it. So I read the first page. If that's good enough, I continue until I either get bored with the first chapter. And usually if I make it through the first chapter, you got yourself a buy. All right, number 6, something you shouldn't have. No backstories. A lot of people like to make the reader understand the world that's going on and the characters right there, and that is a big mistake. Let me remind you, the reader doesn't give a rip yet. You need to have them care first, and that's going to take a while in some words. So you need to just, when the backstories become relevant, that's when you pop them up. Don't pop them up in the second chapter either, okay? Because that just bores the reader. That's called info dumping, and that's a no-no. No info dumping. They're boring. If you info dump, they're going to skip pages and put your book down. This includes world building. If you have a fantastical world that's complex, you're going to have to do some descriptions, but they're descriptions. They're not a whole 3 pages making the reader understand the concept of everything, because most of that is probably not even important or relevant to the story, and that's boring. They don't care about your world yet. They need to have some sort of connection to the main character and know the problem. Those two are more important than what's going on around. Make sense? As I said, touch on these as they become relevant to the story. Now we're off the steps. Now there is a lot of pressure for this chapter to be perfect, but I personally wouldn't stress too much about it. I just gave you some advice for you to go on and for you to start writing. But I would suggest you just keep writing. And that leads us into my last tip. Move on. Writers improve their writing as they write. Trust me, if you haven't written a book yet, you're going to see this. So let yourself finish your book. Write every chapter. Because you're going to notice that when you read back, no matter how hard you worked right now, when you start to read your book again, it's going to suck. Because you have improved as a writer, so you know what sucky writing looks like. And thus, you can improve your first chapter on the second draft. That's what it's for. And you'll improve the rest of the book as you go. And then the cycle continues, and you'll just get better and better and better until you become the best you can possibly be, because eventually you'll edit less every time. So that's why I suggest not stressing too much about it, because you are not quite capable of writing to the best you can be when you're first starting your book. You're going to be way better coming back after the book is finished. Just put something down. Let the editing phase do what it needs to do. I say that all the time. Alright, you reached the end and you hit the subscribe button, so now you have my surprise. I'm giving away a $100 Amazon Visa card once we hit 1,000 subscribers. All you have to do is subscribe, like this video, and comment whether you pay attention to the first sentence, first paragraph, first page, or first chapter of a book. What makes you buy a book on that? And then you're done. Because the winner is chosen at random, feel free to go on all my other videos and I can respond to their questions, just so you'll have more chances to win.